So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, whatever part of the world you're currently listening to our podcast. Today is March the 6th. Um, another month has been passed and it's behind us. Thank you for watching, listening to our Face Economics podcast, where we talk about geopolitics, geoeconomics, international affairs, the evolution of the marketplace worldwide via social media, and the overall situation of the new world market. Okay, so many of you are aware I am still currently campaigning as a US Senate candidate. So I would like to apologize in advance that I haven't been able to do a whole lot of podcasting the last couple of months, simply because if I'm not out there door knocking, recruiting signatures, and talking to potential voters, when I do have the time to work on in front of my laptop, I'm mostly working on my campaign material projects on top of my overall pre-existing project. So I apologize in advance. Things are kind of slow when it comes to our Face Economics podcast. I haven't been able to get up in front of the microphone and talk to the public about our overall, um, Face Economics global campaign. All right, folks. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for uh, your continued support and for your patronizing our channel and podcast. So we're going to talk about the ramifications or the potential benefits, actually, of what's going on in Venezuela and Iran. So first of all, I want to put this out there. I'm not a pacifist. I just want to make sure that this disclaimer of being anti-war has been demystified, because I do not believe in war, nor do I believe that war is necessary, but should it be avoidable? Um, it really depends. Okay, folks. Um, with that said, given that my platform is in economic development, I do support developing capacity in various markets worldwide. And as many of you are aware, both Iran and Venezuela are countries that are struggling economically, mainly by choice, by their decision makers that kind of separated their markets from the rest of the world. Now, don't ask me if it's anyone's, um, you know, overall uh, decision making process to include other markets into the fold of the bigger global marketplace. Every country's sovereign, so they get to decide how they want to operate. But unfortunately, many of these countries that have been oppressed and have been kind of sectioned off from the rest of the world based off of the decision of their leaders are struggling economically. Their people are not getting access to relevant and much needed economic support, as well as job creation, and all sorts of trade, just because of their overall policy when it comes to other countries. And obviously most of the Western countries are well off. They have a lot of purchasing power, and their markets are growing. Capitalism tends to be uh, well accepted in many of the Western worlds. That's not the case in other countries around the world, obviously. But with this said, so my opinion on Iran and Venezuela, I think many of their population are going through a lot of economic hardship. Their markets not being stimulated by investments. There isn't a whole lot of job creation in their markets, and they can't really utilize the social media platform to help build their overall entrepreneurial capacity, unfortunately. because it's either non-existent in their market or it's being hyper hyperly silenced by many of the decision makers. Okay, folks. So that's just the reality in those marketplaces. So I understand why many of the diasporas from Venezuela and from Iran are rejoicing, especially those that are living in Western countries and societies, because now they see that light at the end of the tunnel for their population. Okay, I understand why they're rejoicing. Now, is it in the best interest of America to be that cop, the big brother, the decision maker for the whole world and for the marketplace in various countries? I'm not so sure. Um, and I'm coming, from a US Peace Corps background. Okay, folks, what we did was basically capacity building, supporting the development of various markets worldwide. That's the mission of the Peace Corps, US Peace Corps, and provide capacity building, support, public diplomacy between US and other countries. So, yeah, it's coming from someone who have served in the US Peace Corps. And I'm telling you this because some of these countries don't really care much for us. They don't respect us. They don't respect our population and who we are as Americans. Okay. But they do like, the benefits of us trading with them and bringing investment from the US to their market and help stimulate job creation. So, yeah, I believe that both Venezuela and Iran, excuse me, would benefit from the current state of affairs uh, in their country. Um, Obviously, divorced from religious ideologies and political opinions in their society, uh, because they're just simply not put together the same way as many Western countries were put together. Okay, folks. Yeah, so I just thought I'd share this with you. It's a fairly basic opinion. I don't want to dig deep too much into it because you do have some references of other countries that we basically, um, you know, uh, provided regime change, and some of them are thriving and some of them aren't thriving throughout history. So that's just the reality of these kinds of engagement, folks. But things have yet to be seen. The Middle East has always been an issue for the U.S. and Western powers, mainly because of religion and the way things are operating in their society. So um, I'm not here to judge them. I'm not here to judge anyone, actually. My overall predisposition is to support economic development. So sometimes economic development only happens when um, there's a regime change, unfortunately, or somebody, basically opens up the marketplace and allow trade and commerce to flow. So that's just the reality of capacity building, economic development, and also being able to attract foreign direct investment worldwide. But given that we now live in the year 2026, I think many countries, not just currently oppressed societies, but countries that are emerging and frontier markets, is what they call them, they're evolving, they're growing pretty fast, are now wanting to trade with the Western powers, specifically with the U.S. and other Western countries. So in order for them to do that, they will have to build their overall capacity to basically catch up as far as how things are evolving in their marketplace. So yeah, that's where everything is at this point, folks. Um, yeah, so I'm not gonna make this podcast very lengthy. I just thought I'd share my quick opinion. I believe in the next couple of months or even in a year or so that the marketplace in both Venezuela and um, Iran will somewhat improve and increase potential. But until the old guards, the same people that kept everybody else out, are in power, there's definitely going to be a lot of headbanging and power grab issues that will happen within the political system. There's going to be a lot of, uh, pulling tug of war per se within their government system that will take place, and I believe that the younger population will kind of uh, intervene and they will participate in their local government, and that's what's going to change the whole market dynamics in Venezuela and Iran when the younger people start to advance and participate in their political process. Um, I also see, a similar situation in many countries, not just in, emerging frontier markets, even in the U.S. More children of immigrants and former uh, individuals that came from other countries are now uh, engaging in U.S. politics, and I think that's extremely healthy. It's never been done before. I think we need these kinds of, political discourse and political opinions, and capacity building, awareness type of campaigns. Um, and it's extremely healthy for children of immigrants or former immigrants that came to the U.S. to participate in the political process in America. I think that's the best way. Our society, since we are a country of immigrants, that's the only way for America to survive moving forward. It's when immigrants from other countries and children of immigrants, uh, participate in the political process because they bring a very unique perspective. And I'm not just saying this because I come from an immigrant family. Just the overall dynamics of the U.S. We are always evolving, and nowadays we're evolving much faster than we've ever evolved before as a society, and there's no stopping that. You know, we need to be able to um, just basically adapt to these kinds of changes that's happening in America. Um, the more you silence and single out the children of immigrants and the former immigrants that are now American citizens that wants to be a part of the political process in America, the more there will be struggles and grief and conflict in our society. Okay, folks. Just because for the longest time there was, two types of narrative: either you're pro-Republican or you're pro-Democrat. Uh, but there wasn't a whole lot of uh, strategical value that they were incorporating by adapting ideas and concepts and attitudes from the minority or the former immigrant, uh, individual or the children of immigrants. So it's not quite balanced. The best way for us to balance things out as a society is to give everyone a voice, and sit down and listen to other people's perspective. That's a healthy political process. That's a very healthy engagement within the balance of powers in our society, and local or national. Okay, folks. I'm not just saying this based just because I'm, running for office myself, but I'm providing this opinion off of what I've seen around the world and what I've seen today in America's political process. Okay, folks. Uh, that's just in today's reality. In the year 2026, there's going to be a massive evolution in America's political process. Those that push back and those that won't accept these kinds of changes will basically struggle in the next couple of years. They're gonna be more um, disenfranchised, dissatisfied with the political process, just because of today's reality, because of the internet, because of social media, because of artificial intelligence. Um, people are being pretty much conditioned nowadays by many of these social media giants to favor one side and not have a balanced approach to politics. I think many of the legal immigrants and children of immigrants will be able to counter those kinds of silencing and disjointed type of social architecture that many of these social media giants are trying to push out there and influence the marketplace. That's my thoughts for today. Thank you so much for listening to our Face Economics podcast. My name is Al Mina, author of the Face Economics Concept, the utilization of the social media platform in economic development worldwide. I hope you all have a happy Friday night and enjoy your weekend. Till we meet again, take care.